Flames lit up the quiet street like the 4th of July gone wrong. The sleek white Tesla crackled and hissed, sparks dancing across the driveway as alarms screamed into the night. From my porch, coffee mug in hand, I watched the chaos unfold. The smell of burnt plastic mixed with roasted ego. And over the noise, I heard her shrill voice cut through the smoke. "You did this to me, Eleanor." I didn't answer. I just took another sip of coffee and thought, finally, justice runs on 240 volts. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My name's Eleanor Briggs, retired electrical engineer, age 52, living in Oakview Estates, a neighborhood designed to look peaceful and feel suffocating. You know the type: white fences, freshly mowed lawns, and an HOA that thinks it's a branch of the federal government. When I first moved here, it was quiet. Then Kendra Wilcox showed up. Kendra was Maplewood's self-appointed eco-enforcer. She wasn't on the HOA board. No one had elected her, but that didn't stop her from patrolling the neighborhood like a sustainability cop. She'd measure grass height with a ruler, check your recycling bin for non-compliant plastics, and once find a teenager for owning a gas-powered leaf blower. Her favorite line was, "We all have to do our part for the planet." Translation: you have to do your part while I tell you how superior I am. At first, I ignored her. I'm not the confrontational type. I just like tinkering in my garage, my workshop of wires, as my late wife used to call it. Built a small solar battery bank, mostly for fun and to save on bills. Apparently, that was enough to make me a target. It started one month when my electricity bill doubled, from $180 to nearly $400. I live alone. I don't even use the dishwasher. Something was off. I ran diagnostics, checked every circuit, every appliance, even unplugged the fridge overnight. Nothing. But my smart meter told me the spikes happened between 2 and 5 a.m. every night. So one night, I stayed up. Coffee, patience, and curiosity. And right on cue, at 1:47 a.m., a pair of headlights rolled up outside. A white Tesla Model Y Kendra's. I watched through my garage window as she got out. Bathrobe, slippers, clipboard under her arm, and tiptoed across my lawn like a raccoon in yoga pants. She plugged her car straight into my outdoor outlet. My outlet, the one behind my fence. The Tesla's charging light blinked green, and she leaned back, scrolling her phone like she'd earned it. I whispered to myself, "You've got to be kidding me." The next morning, I caught her in her yard, watering her native plant garden. "Kendra," I said, "why were you on my property last night?" She blinked, then gave me that tight HOA smile. "Excuse me. I saw you. You were charging your Tesla from my wall socket." "Oh, don't be dramatic," she scoffed. "It's just a few kilowatts. We're supposed to share community resources." "Community resources?" I repeated. "That's my private outlet, behind my private fence." She crossed her arms. "You sound selfish for someone who claims to care about the environment." That's Kendra logic. Theft dressed up as virtue. The HOA's response, or lack thereof. Naturally, I filed a complaint with the HOA. Their response: "We encourage you to resolve this amicably between neighbors." Amicably. Right. Meanwhile, I was paying for her nightly joyrides. At the next board meeting, Kendra showed up with a binder full of nonsense, photos of solar farms, quotes about collective sustainability, and even a printout of Greta Thunberg's speech. She claimed my hoarding of energy violated the spirit of eco-cooperation. The HOA president, Bill Matthews, looked ready to quit mid-meeting. "Maybe we can handle this privately," he sighed. Kendra smiled. "Of course. I'll make sure Eleanor understands our community's values." I understood perfectly. I was on my own. That night, I sat in my garage, staring at my workbench, a chaos of wires, resistors, and schematics. If she wanted to steal my power, maybe it was time she experienced real electricity. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't planning to hurt anyone. I just wanted to teach her, and the HOA, a lesson they'd never forget. So, I got to work. I built what I called the greenback circuit. It looked like a normal outlet, but hidden behind the panel was a feedback system. Safe for humans, lethal for smug Teslas. Whenever someone pulled too much current, like, say, a 30-amp car charger, it triggered a surge loop that tripped the vehicle's internal charging system. No explosions. No electrocution. Just a very expensive wake-up call. For 3 nights, she came back like clockwork. 1:47 a.m., slippers, smugness, and all. On the 4th night, I was ready. The cameras were rolling. The sensors armed. My coffee brewed. At exactly 1:46 a.m., the motion alert pinged. Kendra's Tesla rolled up, lights off. She moved quickly this time, maybe thinking I'd given up. Plug in. Green light. Then, click. The Tesla's hum stuttered. A faint spark jumped. Then the dashboard glowed red. Charging fault detected. Kendra screamed as the plug popped, smoke curling like karma in the night air. She yanked the cable, tripped over her own charger, and ran for her house yelling, "You'll hear from the HOA." I chuckled. Oh, I hope so. By morning, half the neighborhood had heard. Word spreads fast when the local eco-saint sets her Tesla on fire. She called the HOA first thing, claiming I'd sabotaged her vehicle. That evening, I got an email. Emergency HOA meeting, electrical incident discussion. Perfect. I printed every piece of evidence, my electric bills, timestamps, photos, and most importantly, stills of her sneaking into my yard with her cable. When I walked into the clubhouse, it felt like a courtroom drama. The entire neighborhood was there. Kendra sat up front, arms crossed, her melted charger cable beside her like a prop in a bad play. "Mrs. Wilcox alleges that you tampered with your outlet to cause property damage," Bill began. "Oh, I take property safety very seriously," I said, setting up the projector. "Let me show you exactly what happened." The footage played. Silence fell. There she was, sneaking in, plugging in, stealing my power. Then the spark. The smoke. Her retreat. Kendra shot to her feet. "He rigged it. He endangered me." Bill rubbed his temples. Kendra, the video clearly shows trespassing. "It's community energy sharing," she shrieked. Someone in the back laughed. Then another. Soon the whole room was chuckling. I leaned back and said, "You're right, Kendra. You were sharing my power, my property, and my patience." The board voted to dismiss her complaint on the spot. For the first time in years, Oakview Estates felt peaceful again. For about a week. Then came the anonymous notes on my porch. "Enjoy your little victory, thief." The truth always comes out. Same font as her old HOA letters. Subtle as a sledgehammer. 2 days later, a county inspector showed up. "We got a report about illegal wiring," he said, clipboard in hand. "Let me guess," I replied. "From a woman with too much perfume and not enough hobbies." He smirked. "Can't say, sir." I showed him the outlet, the blueprints, the documentation. All perfectly legal. All perfectly safe. He left shaking his head, muttering, "People really need new hobbies." That's when I decided to end this once and for all. Most residents don't know that HOA records are public to homeowners. And buried in the meeting minutes, I found something called the Community Sustainability Fund. According to Kendra, it was a donation-based program for neighborhood green projects, solar panels, recycling bins, composting initiatives. Residents had been donating small amounts each month, but the money didn't go to any project. Every cent was deposited into Kendra's personal account. She'd been stealing electricity and cash in the name of saving the planet. I gave the file to Linda Torres, my gossip-loving neighbor and unofficial neighborhood newswire. By sundown, everyone knew. That night, Bill called an emergency meeting. The room was packed. "Kendra Wilcox," he began, "we've reviewed the records. The so-called Sustainability Fund was unauthorized. The funds were used for Tesla parts, home upgrades, and a retreat in Sedona." The crowd gasped. Kendra stood up, shaking. "That was research. I was developing ecotherapy programs." Linda shouted from the back, "You mean massages and margaritas?" The laughter was thunderous. Bill sighed. "Effective immediately, Mrs. Wilcox is stripped of all HOA privileges and fined for misappropriation of funds. We'll be forwarding this to the county." Kendra glared at me. "You did this. You set me up." "No," I said quietly. "You set yourself up. I just turned on the lights." She stormed out, and a week later, a for sale sign appeared on her lawn. Months passed. The HOA rebuilt under new leadership. Linda became president, and this time, sustainability actually meant something. Solar-powered lamps along the walking trail, a real recycling program, community gardens funded transparently. They even asked me to consult on wiring the new solar system. Funny, huh? The same guy Kendra once accused of energy hoarding became the HOA's go-to for clean power. At the ribbon cutting, someone joked, "Let's hope nobody fries their Tesla this time." The crowd laughed. I did too. One morning, months later, a plain envelope showed up in my mailbox. No return address, Just neat handwriting, KW. Inside was a short note. You were right. Power corrupts, even when you think you're saving the world. Maybe I needed to be unplugged to learn that. Kendra? I smiled. Maybe she'd finally learned the difference between power and control. Now, every time I plug in my new electric mower, I glance at the outlet that started it all, the same outlet where the balance of power shifted for good. A small plaque hangs above it now. Private power. Respect the current. Funny thing is, the whole neighborhood loved it so much, they made it the HOA's new motto. And that's when I realized, sometimes, karma doesn't burn you down. It just rewires your life, one spark